Making a list about my top 10 favorite boss fights in video games was a very hard list, and one that I actually had to keep going back to and redoing over and over because there were either some bosses I may have missed or some things I may have not done right. To do this list, I came up with 4 rules. First, it's a main boss, not an optional boss, but a real boss. Second, it's one per franchise. Third, it can't be too cheesy or too easy. And 4, it's factored on 2 elements. 1 to test your skill, or 2, payback. Making this list was difficult because the list was constantly changing, with some being replaced all the time. Chances are you're not really going to find your favorite bosses on this list, but you're allowed to make your comments or video responses, so don't complain too much. Alright, let's begin. Okay, so Zelda from Kingdom Hearts 2 might be a little cheesy sometimes, but it's all about how you use your skills. You gotta jump at the right time, and look for the reaction command, because it's your best chance of winning against this guy. Because for one thing, look at that crazy defense he has. Constant air and spear going around him in circles. Not to mention he's got some long-range attacks. So make sure you keep your distance, jump, and look for the reaction command. Zoldan can actually be a pretty fun challenge. Take a good look at these two.
I need you to die.
They might just be the toughest boss fight you'll fight in Tales of Symphonia: Dawn of the New World. Why? Well, for one, they both have incredible powerful attacks that can drain you and your team to just 1 hit point. Alice casts spells and healing powers, and Dex has long-range special attacks. The best way to go about this boss fight is to go after Alice first, keep her in mid-air, and when you get her health low enough, use your Mystic Art. Why Alice first? Because she has healing powers. If you go after Dex, she can restore him, and you'll just be back to square one. Strategy is very important in this boss fight. It can make the difference between victory and defeat. Any boss fight from Donkey Kong Jungle Beat could easily fit on this list because it's so much fun to pound on those drums. But for my favorite, I guess it would have to be the Ghastly King. Why? You only have to play through 1 mini-stage just to get to him. He actually can be a little easy at times, which is sad. But this pure satisfaction of just pummeling him to the ground and throwing him to the wall is second to none. And I know I'm not the only player who pounded his chest when he won. Face it, Crash Man, Airman, and Woodman are all overrated. Quickman can actually be pretty difficult, very difficult sometimes, but Metal Man gets the formula just right, between the not so cheesy and not too easy difficult. He can change the landscape with making the conveyor belt go left and right, jumping very high, shooting multiple metal blades at you. Without the quick boomerang, this is actually a very challenging fight. Hulk Davidson from Beautiful Joe is not that hard, but he was very hard the first time I played him. He has a giant axe, he's shooting missiles at you, fire comes down from the ceiling, and he's ramming you up against the wall. The best way to go about this boss fight is shoot his missiles back at him in slow motion, causing more damage. I also give him an extra point for having a Mega Man reference.
So what's with the feed watch on your arm, man? What, you think you're some kind of Mega Man or something?
At the end of the Dream Den is a total nightmare. You will be fighting against Titan Dweevil. What makes him so bad? He has 4 different types of weapons that can kill off 4/5 of your Pikmin squad type colors. Yeah, his 4 attacks can kill off 4 types of your Pikmin squad, if you're not careful. His attacks are random, so you don't really know which one he's going to pull out unless he only has 1 left. Beating him isn't hard, it's beating him without losing a single Pikmin that is, and I've only been able to do that once.
4th place.
Now here's one of my favorite Zelda bosses in all the Zelda games. Not the hardest, but just the right amount of challenge to keep you interested. You have to get your timing just right and tell the difference between the real and the fake. And then once you're done with that, you go into a game of tennis, hitting a ball of light back and forth at each other until one of you dies. Hopefully, it's him. Okay, so Gruntilda isn't exactly a challenging boss fight, but she is a very fun boss fight, and one that I always put 6 more hours into this game just to come back and play again. You'll have to use every move you've learned throughout the entire game to beat her, as he just told you. You have to get your picking attack just right. You have to get your aim with your eggs just right. Dodge at the right time. And then you'll even go into a series of air diving battles. And I have to say, that's one of my favorite parts. Dive bombing her in the air.
Second place.
Don't get too cocky, Starfall. We'll just see about that, Starwolf.
I can't express enough just how much fun this boss fight is. You're not fighting just one, you're fighting 4, and you have to protect your wingmates as well. They've got new ships, which makes them a whole lot tougher than they were the first time. Sort of. And they're a lot harder to shake off this time than in the first one. They will try to stay behind you all the way through. But one of my favorite tricks to Starwolf is trying to catch them off guard early so you can pick off one of them very quickly. There are many words I could use to describe Sirius from Bomberman 64, but since I'm trying to keep this a family-friendly channel, I'll just say it like this. He's a backstabbing traitor. At the beginning of the game, these 4 guys are going around to different planets, harnessing their energy and then destroying them, and your planet is targeted next. They then come down on their giant flying fortress thingy and begin to tear your planet a new one. That's where he comes in. He comes in, tells you what they're doing, how to destroy them, and how to save your planet. Yeah, that's what he tells you. Sure, sometimes he gives you some remote bombs, and he gives you information. But once you get to what you think is the last boss of the game and collect all 100 gold bars, there's a different ending. You learn that this guy was actually stealing the planet's energy before them, they stole it from him, he takes it back, kills off this guy, tells you that you've become annoying and that he's going to harness your planet and destroy it. Payback is the name of this boss fight. What makes this boss fight really challenging is that he usually flies away and then he comes back shooting his laser at you. But what's really annoying is that when you finally get your hit on him, he stops the match just to laugh at you. Once you've finally done enough damage to him, he flies up to the center of the stage, ready to destroy you with his giant powerful lasers, until Regulus, this guy who reminds me of Boba Fett, punches him out of the way, destroys the Omni Cube, and sends everything back to normal. What happens next is a 3 free-for-all Bomberman brawl. Sirius isn't flying away anymore, but now he has 2 special attacks. And you have to watch out for both of them. But there's a reason we never saw Sirius again after Bomberman 64. We blew the stuffing out of him! Well, that's my list. It's taken me a very long time to get done, as I've had to read through this video many times. The list is always going to change. But this is it currently. So, what are yours? Leave a comment or make a video response.